Welcome everyone you are listening to and perhaps watching Calling The Audible. I'm your host, Peeze, Reeze, and what has returned from last week is our background. Finally, the graphics appropriate of Calling The Audible. Eagle, of course, has returned. With him became graphics pro.
Thank you, Terry, for breaking the entire graphic set, so I had to rebuild it, and I took the opportunity to put myself on camera. So, hello, party people. Happy Halloween. I am dressed up as a producer.
A little bit of improvement. We've been trying to do some different things, as you know, this season. One of the things was do sort of like a semi-solo podcast, but Eagle is in a room with me. And once in a while, we do converse. What makes it difficult is neither of us are looking at each other, and then I tend to look over at you, Eagle, when I address you, because otherwise I'm looking at my own face on the TV, waiting for you to answer a question. So now I can actually look at you answering the question on the TV, which is what our viewers at home are seeing.
Hooray.
Yeah. There we go. There he is. How you doing, Eagle?
I'm good. A lot of traveling.
How were your travels?
Decent.
So you were in Washington and didn't go see an NLCS game?
They weren't playing at that point in time.
The NLCS was going on at the time.
I don't think so. Early October?
Well, the playoffs were. Some round was happening.
I don't think so. Okay.
I want to say.
You know what? I'm going to go check it just to be sure. But yeah, I was in Washington, D.C. Then I was in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And last week I was in Las Vegas. That was fun.
Natural.
And then next week I'm in London, not Ontario, UK, and also Switzerland. So, yay.
Oh, nice. Is it the Me and Terry Tam show again?
Probably, yeah. I'm going to back up the graphics kit just so he doesn't break it again.
Please. Can we store it somewhere in this room? Other than the computer, so that he can find it.
Like on a USB drive or something?
Yeah, like in a box in a USB drive somewhere.
If only we had the power of the cloud.
If only. So it's a stormy Halloween night. Cancel culture officially gone too far as Halloween canceled by Mayor Valerie Plante. Not really sure how you can cancel a voluntary activity with your children where other people engage by decorating their homes and deciding to or not to give out candy.
Well, the easy explanation is it's shitty weather outside. Like, I didn't even want to come here tonight.
I didn't either.
So you can only imagine the parents driving around collecting candy for their kids in their cars, so they don't want to be driving either.
Oh, I understand that, but why would the mayor need to cancel it or declare that it has been not canceled?
So the word gets out. It's mayoral duties.
But so every other year, is it hosted by the mayor?
It's just assumed that it's October 31st unless specified else.
Yeah. Okay. So, my mistake. I misunderstood how voluntary community activities take place. Either way, for those of you out with your kids and watching this at a later time or hearing this at a different time, if you're listening to us while you're with your kids, you're a terrible parent. You should have them taken away.
Multitasking is a thing. You know what? Maybe you're watching this with your kids.
Multitasking is a made-up thing. That's just doing two things half-assed. Do a thing full ass. Another thing we'll talk to you about, Eagle, before we start the show is the Washington Nationals are World Series champions.
You mean the Montreal Expos 2.0?
And I don't know how I feel about this because in theory, it's the once was Montreal Expos. Not in theory, it's absolutely the once was Montreal Expos franchise, who literally since they've left have stopped being a laughingstock and have been productive franchise that that fans can be proud of. But I mean, I remember how hurt I was seeing Jose Vidro 37 in a Washington Nationals jersey, Eagle. So I don't know. I don't know if I could truly celebrate this. It's a mix. I truly had mixed emotions. I thought I'd be generally ambivalent about baseball in general because I'm sort of an outsider fan. I like the game. After the Expos left, I started cheering for the Mets, and there's nothing that kills your fandom quicker than the Mets. Like, even as a Dolphins fan, nothing kills your fandom quicker than the Mets. And then, you know, I followed it from the outside. But it actually did affect me. I did have a moment of like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, it was exactly that. I watched the last pitch, right? So it's a strikeout to end the World Series.
Yeah.
And I was just
there. That's one of the most dramatic ways. Like, a walk-off home run is absolutely dramatic, but that's low-key dramatic, right? Seeing a strikeoff and seeing the pitcher fist pump on the mound as everyone rushes the mound. Like, it's so cool.
And I was thinking, this could be the last pitch of the game. Okay, this one could be the last pitch of the game. Oh, and there it is.
Yeah.
It was this weird feeling of, oh, I guess that's it. I don't have any emotions.
Well, that's I know. Our hot sauce colleague, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, please feel free to watch, listen to, subscribe to Hot Sauce Sports. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. We've been getting lots of pleasant feedback about it. But our hot sauce colleague, Terry Tam, he's very upset about the Nationals winning. I've seen other people very happy. But I feel like if you're a true Expos fan, you're just beaten. It's just a reminder of, like, someone took your shit. And it's like your girl's banging someone who's better than you at this point, right? That's what the Nationals are.
That's basically it, yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate. Eagle, I saw a little bit of Vinny's Huffmen taking on lightweight. And
what'd you think?
I was excited for the game, and then I left at halftime because it was boring. One thing that was awesome was Terry Tam was rushing Simon Dagenet, and Terry could not get Simon's flag. Simon literally ran on him. Yeah, because Terry would blow by him after slapping Simon in the gut, and then no flag in his hand, and Simon would. I think he took off 4 first down, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. No, it was on the lonely 6-yard scamper. Interestingly, there's 3 interceptions on the card, but Simon Dagenet is only attributed 1. That's the awesome scorekeeping of Mo Khan in this game.
Thank you, Mo.
It was ugly. There was I want to say back-to-back plays, but there might have been a play in between. Simon Dagenet goes to throw a post over the middle to Chris Miard, and Chris Miard sort of turned in towards the middle of the field. Simon threw it upfield to nobody, and then
that's always wonderful.
And then Simon threw what looked like he thought was an outside fade, but Isaiah Lard ran in towards the middle, like not even like a post, but like a inside release, inside shaded seam. And then the ball was thrown to ex-lightweight teammate Justin Blanchard, who intercepted the ball. Just an awkward, slow, ugly game. Vinny Galano wasn't particularly sharp either. He threw there was one ball specifically on a wheel that, it was tough coverage. He had to really squeeze it in there, but put in a spot where Marco Bertolli did everything in his power to catch the ball, unable to bring it in. But Vinny's Huffmen did get the win over lightweight. I think we were saying we thought this game is a game that Vinny's Huffmen should win by a drastic fashion. Simon Dagenet either threw 1 or 3 interceptions, depending on which side of the stat sheet you fall. And the Vinny's Huffmen only won by 2.
So what does this tell you about lightweight? Are they better than you think, or is just Huffmen not showing up or not really being in the game?
This is the first time I think all season I've seen the true lightweight roster with everyone there. Justin Lerner, Francois Hogue, healthy, Isaiah Lard, Chris Miard, Hendrik Ambrose, and Eddie Lee on the field as well. On defense, I realized lightweight's defense is legit. Like that's probably, if not the best defense in Tier 1, they're like 1A or 1B. It's up there with lightweight. It's up there with Braves. It's up there with they're a team that belongs definitely on the defensive side of the ball. The criticism I have here is the serious criticism I have had of Simon Dagenet for a long time. We tease and we joke, but he is better than we've let on in the years when he's worked for the media. But the thing I've always said is he makes his life more difficult in that communication needs to be perfect, because there's a lot of single read plays in that you need to be like, he's read this defense, you need to beat your guy, you need to be at that spot at that time, and if not, the ball is going to be intercepted or the ball is going to harmlessly hit the turf. And I saw that quite a few times this past week. Eagle, are there any games that caught your eye before we get into some playoff or bowl scenarios?
I did not see any games this week at all.
Cool. Can you fake it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's
take a look. I'm just using it so you can bring something up.
Well, let's see some interesting ones. Junkyard Dogs lost 44-46. I said that in the weird order against STL. That's a little bit surprising. I mean, does STL not have a defense anymore, or what happened?
I think So what's interesting is Junkyard Dogs appear to be learning very quickly, and specifically Jason Rossi. Do you remember Jason Rossi's first game in FPF?
Oh God,
it was awful.
That was no offense, Jason.
No,
but
it's what happens a lot. Guys sign up to play in FPF. They don't know what the level of competition is like. They play outdoors or whatever, and then they get smoked. And they, because I think they were in Division 4. It was not pretty. So then he starts in this division, and he's had against the weaker teams, against All Hooks and against Rockets, they perform well. But then STL handled them. Vinny's Huffmen, the score was closer than the game was the first time around. Second time around, the score looks exactly like what the game was. But recently, if you look over the last 3 games, Eagle, Junkyard Dogs beat Run and Gun 41-40. They tied Braves U 32 apiece. And now they lose to STL. They lose to STL 46-44.
But even look at the other games. I mean, game 1, they win 34-33 against All Hooks.
So you did that thing where you didn't listen. I mentioned that their early 2 games were against the weaker teams in the division. Then they got to the heart of it. It was more difficult. And now, past 3 weeks, they've been competing with the better teams in this.
But the only week that really they kind of weren't in it was week 3, which was the other STL matchup where it was kind of a blow-up. Well, Vinny's Huffmen, you can argue.
The 2 Vinny's Huffmen's game weren't close. There was a junk time score in week 4 that made it look closer than it was. And it was a game where Vinny's Huffmen were sort of ripe for the taking. They weren't sharp, but then over time they just sort of outlasted. They just controlled the game like a more experienced, higher division team. And but honestly, I'm really impressed. I don't think it's necessarily that STL doesn't have a defense per se. The athletes are all there. I just think it's Jason Rossi's playing at a very, very high level at this point, and it's been awesome to see. Because look, a defense that has Jamie Ojea, Gab Wiseman, Zach Zwern, Dylan Taylor, by the way, as well. Terrence Adams, fantastic rusher. So it's not a defense where you would you're a guy who prides himself on understanding defenses. Where's the weakness on this defense? Who do you pick on?
You probably have to pick on Dylan Taylor. I mean,
that's not great.
And that's not great.
That's not great.
Brent Callender, I mean, I know we like to make fun of, but him too, he holds his own.
He's a very aggressive player in the flats.
And then if you have Wiseman and Zwern on the outside, you don't want that either. Adams as a rusher, I mean, 2 sacks in this game. That's always good. Yeah, I mean, it's just, what's interesting is that they have Jamie Ojea and Paula Pierre on their roster, and they don't have any defensive stats in this game. So I don't know if they're just not getting reps or if they are, and in this game over here, Rossi just avoided them like the plague.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
which, by the way, is a great idea.
Yeah, it's the thing you got to do. That's the thing you got to do. Leprechauns have Matthew Kiljan once again starting for Leprechauns. They beat Trailer Park Boys 35-19. Weird season. They go into it with Marc-Andre Desaulniers as the quarterback. He first gets sick, then he starts a job that requires him to work at night. And, it's a team, I guess, that was built with that idea, that concept that they might not have the quarterback all season long. As Matthew Kiljan, we know him from Bud Knights, of course, Eagle. He has a good game here. Very Matthew Kiljanian, 14 completions on 24 passes, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he's a guy who takes a lot of shots. Defense didn't make him pay, and he's going to win those games more often than not. Trailer Park Boys are a team I find to be particularly interesting. I thought they were one of the stronger teams in this bracket, and we see them taking now 4 straight losses after their win week 4 against Untouchables. Since then, the only game they were even in was a 26-25 loss to Honey Martin.
Well, I mean, if you look at their first 4 games, right? So they played 1-9ers in week 1, which is a blowout. Yeah. They played Lockdown, which was not a good team in week 2. Arguably not a good team in week 8. Then Honey Martin they lost to, and then they beat Untouchable. So they went 3-1 in those first 4 games. But really, the only game that was really at a competitive level, let's call it, was week 3, where they lost decisively. So then going into week 5 to 8, sure, they're at the top of the standings. Again, the Honey Martin game is reverse effect. It's actually the only one that's competitive in the second half of the season. The other ones have all been blowouts.
And the thing is that I know what you're saying, Eagle, but having played against them, and you played against them as well, I just thought they were far more athletic, far more dominant than a lot of the. Just from a physical standpoint.
Physicality-wise, I agree with you. I think the problem with this team is that their offense is very... you know what you're getting, right? They don't have that many plays in their playbook, or it's big plays or jump balls where they need to bail out Antoine Meunier on a lot of plays. So if that's not happening, or if you adjust, and they... even on defense, they're getting stops because they're aggressive, but maybe they're just being too aggressive and getting burned over and over again, you know? So I don't know what to do with this team. It's not the same because Vincent Benjamin is on the roster but hasn't played a single game in the second half either. That
I spoke to Vincent Benjamin before the season. He told me, because I asked him to play for Supply and Command, he's like, sure, as long as you don't play Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday nights. I have class. And I was like, well, then you can't play the fall season.
Yeah, pretty much.
So every team he was supposed to be on kind of had to deal with the fact that Vincent Benjamin was not available. So that's that game. Eagle, what's the game that caught your attention? Is catching your attention. Let's put it that way.
In Tier 2, there was a game between the Blackouts and Les Gros Coqs, which ended 19-18. I always like these little tight extra point games because it always gives us the opportunity to remind people how about extra points are so goddamn important and everyone forgets about them.
Yet we don't track them.
We will.
It seems insane it's taken us this long.
Yes, I know. Everything takes forever.
By the way, the app developer last week, Eagle, Joy Pereira, friend of both of ours, he wished me happy birthday on my birthday.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I said, and for my birthday, you're clearing up the queue of everything we need for the app.
He actually is.
Yeah, but he didn't finish.
That is correct.
So he's a jerk.
I don't think it works that way.
I believe it does. Point is, he couldn't deliver. Blackouts are a team since they've started playing in FPF. They've impressed me. Julien Lachance is not there yet. He's physically there. He's played quarterback before. His mechanics are very good. He's a very good athlete. He's got a great arm. Jesus Christ, I wish I had his arm and athleticism and good looks. I got none of those things. I have a face for podcast, as they say. But the thing is, there's just something to do with the play calls and the spacing and timing. It's not all there. He doesn't know how to best use the entire field. And it's a shame because I think this team is as well built as any other. We see that like Les Gros Coqs are probably one of the fastest teams in this tier. And Dom Lefort, other than 2 times he escaped and ran, was kind of kept in check. Didn't put up a ton of yards, 150 or so yards combined. It just seems really, really stagnant considering what we've seen in some games from that offense. But Eagle, if you look at a team like Les Gros Coqs, there is somewhat of an inconsistency. Like we see this round, they haven't scored more than 3 times. Although the cure to that, by the way, is their next game. Because if you play Supply and Command, you're gonna score a lot.
You say that, but just watch,
dude. It's been a hemorrhage.
You know what? I say that. Look at week 1.
Yeah,
45.
Yeah, that's been the Supply and Command season. I've been there for those games. I can tell you. When you lose a game, when you lose on 3 occasions, scoring 30 points, it's an interesting season. But the thing is, like, is it just that when they face teams that are as athletic, they can't dominate, or is it just an inconsistency issue for Les Gros Coqs?
I think it's got to be an inconsistency. I mean, the guys on the roster aren't necessarily bad. I mean,
they're fast, dude.
Yeah, I know, but that's it, though. Normally, you have a bunch of fast guys on the field. You can at least throw 40 bombs and score just that way, right? You get one-on-one matchups on the outside.
Dom Lefort doesn't do that. He runs around a lot in the pocket. He buys times, and he has a gun. So as he's running, he's able to deliver the ball over the middle on the line. And guys create space and separation.
But then how come it works in some games and it doesn't in
others? I
don't
know. I can't understand it because when I saw them play, I was like, okay, they're much better. When they played against week 1, I was like, this is a much better team than Supply and Command. Congrats, guys. Enjoy your quarterback with 4.2 speed. Awesome. You know, and since then, like, they've looked like an okay team. They're competitive in every game, but they're just not they're not putting it together, you know. And it seems kind of interesting to me. Eagle, what else what else got your eye?
The other games this week, not that they weren't interesting, but there weren't. I guess Warriors, my condolences is the next close one that we can take a look at. Warriors won 39-35 in Bois de Boulogne. So maybe there's. Are they actually from Laval? Or
They are. They
home field advantage.
High school mates with Joey Taylor and company.
Well, there you go. So yeah.
Warriors. Honestly, I hope the Warriors come back in winter. They seem to have grown a lot. They seem to have matured a lot from just their demeanor on the field, but also the way they play has improved. Even though like the results aren't there yet, they're playing better competition, and I feel as though they're playing better. And Mike Solomene has these games like this one, Eagle, 26 for 35, 242, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's
crazy. That's really good.
That's like what you dream of as a quarterback. In 44 minutes to put up 6 touchdowns is not easy.
No.
You know, so some of the best in FPF have difficulty with that. So kudos to them. I'm very, very impressed. And
I mean, Jeremy Anderson, 21 for 26, 211, 5. That's also very
good.
But
the thing is they went up against Jeremy Anderson. Take all of Jeremy Anderson's knowledge, the fact that he's played Division II FPF before, Division A FPF. This is a guy who's played at this speed before. Not at quarterback, but he's played at this speed. And he understands the game in a way that Warriors still had to learn that a couple of seasons ago, right? They take a season off or a year off. I don't remember what it is exactly. They take some time off. They come back. I mean, I know that the blowout situation with Stefano Solomene was last fall. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they played in winter. I know they didn't play spring.
I don't think they did.
So yeah. So it's amazing though. They took time off, and in that time they improved so completely. The defense is better. The quarterbacking is better. Everything about the team is better than it was. It just doesn't look the part yet because they're now playing in they're playing better competition, right?
So, Peeze, if you were building a team, and I would say you can have either Kendall Myers and Ben McMahon or Stefano Solomene and Peter Giannis, who would you take? Because look at the stats in this game. They carried hard.
Is this yeah. Are these teams that I'm quarterbacking?
Well, let's go with a theoretical team first.
Like if it's me,
let's say you are general manager. So you have to, your first picks are wide receivers because whatever, it's a weird league. So you have to take 2 wide receivers first. Which ones are you taking? And it's a package deal, so you can't split them.
Yeah, so that would be my first thing, is I'd split them.
So you would split them? Who'd you take?
Again, this might be preference of the things I like in receivers, but Kendall Myers and Stefano Solomene, they're both tall, they're both fast, they both have very good hands. And they're guys who do damage in space. That's things I like. Look at Justin Blanchard's stats any season he's played with me. That's what I like personally, right? So,
but you wouldn't want so now let's think with a theoretical team that you're not quarterbacking. You wouldn't want a slot receiver.
I probably would go Warriors as a generic thing because. I would go my condolences as a generic team because Kendall Myers, Benjamin McMahon, they're proven commodities in FPF. They've played, especially Kendall Myers has played high division FPF, and what Kendall Myers gives you on defense is supremely underrated. He's a very good shutdown corner in FPF. If it's me, however, I have an issue with shorter receivers. I am not the most accurate. I couldn't use Ben McMahon the same way a lot of other guys use him, the same way a guy like Jeremy Anderson can use him, who's got just a cannon, can rip it into a small window, and a guy like Benji can break open after 3 or 4 tackles. I need guys with range because I am inaccurate. And so if it's me, I'm probably choosing the Warriors guys, but as a whole, I say my condolences to duo. That's a good question, though. I like that one. But if I had the ultimate situation for me specifically, it would be Kendall Myers and Stefano Solomene.
I have another question for you.
Go.
Do you understand how the playoffs work?
Barely. So I'm going to let you explain it. Because you don't know why I don't understand why?
Because no one told you?
Nope, because I, as of this week, do not qualify.
Oh, yes.
For either of my teams.
That's wonderful. All right, so
but it's the best thing in FPF. You're just playing for stats, which is what we all do.
So let's start off with a breakdown of Tier 3 first. So Tier 3 has 12 teams making playoffs in 3 categories. So there's Category 1, the Cash Bowls, where there's a actual monetary prize awarded to the team who wins. So these are the 1 to 4 seeds after the end of the regular season, regardless of whether you're in the top half or the bottom half. So you can see here, these are all the, I think it's 20 teams in Tier 3 sorted in one gigantic list based on all the usual tie breaks. So points head-to-head, well, points wins, head-to-head, divisional, points against, plus minus. After that, it goes strength of schedule and then coin toss. So I think we only get to divisional or points against like once or twice. But anyway, so all 20 teams are sorted here, 1 to 20. So top 4 are cash prize bowl. 5 to 8 are constellation group A. 9 to 12 is Constellation Group B. 13 to 20, thank you for playing, goodbye. Note, these standings are not final because there are still games next week. So week 9 is still possible for teams to move up or down. So, for example, replacements are currently on the outside looking in. However, with a win, they would get into playoffs because they would bump out Leprechauns. Similarly...
but you have eliminated.
Right now, but that's why these aren't final standings.
I know, but I wish we would have written which ones are truly currently eliminated.
So I had it in bold and unbold, but then
but
Duke
all
bolded
of this
everything.
is bold.
Everything has been
so
bolded.
Can you tell us which ones, for example, in Tier 3 right now, who has been eliminated officially?
So BDR, 1 and Niners, Lionhearts, Fafia Sabon, Trailer Park Boys, Scranton Stranglers, and Untouchables, you are all out. The only team who's still remaining is Replacements, who can win or tie and potentially get into the playoffs. And Leprechauns, I believe, is the only team actually on the fence because of the Replacements being able to push them out. That being said, 1 to 11, or effectively 12, are not final seeds either because there's so many teams with seven games, so 1 game left, all in that 8 to 9 point range. And even at the top, Threat Level Midnight, Rogues, and Les OGs are still kind of fighting for that top seed. And a part of my swag can fall out of the cash round with a win from Bandidos or Honey Martin, or potentially with Voodoo, depending on the tie breaks. So there's a lot of movement that's still available.
Part of my swag has the tie break on Voodoo.
But you can even get into a 3-way tie if Choco Barracudas also win, right? So there's a whole mix and match that can happen here at 10 points.
Okay, sorry, I didn't figure it out. Yeah.
Now, that being said, Pardon My Swag is a 100% divisional record, so they're likely locked in to that seed. But again,
unless
if Bandidos wins, they jump up to 11. PMS jumps down. I mean, there's a ton of movement that can still happen.
The two I think pushing truly for a spot in the cash bowl are Los Bandidos and Honey Martin, both at 4-2-1 would end at 5-2-1 with a win. Who is Los Bandidos playing this week?
So if we take a look at this week's schedule, give me 1 second. So we have Los Bandidos are playing Threat Level Midnight. So that's going to be a battle for the top. Nice. We have
Honey Martin?
Honey Martin is playing Chocolate Barracudas. And Les OGs is playing Rogues. So that's another fight for the top, let's call it. That actually might be a repeat in first round of the playoffs. Los Bandidos are playing Threat Level Midnight. Fafia Sabon are playing Voodoo, so Voodoo can kind of push their way up a little bit more with a win over them. And
I think Voodoo, if I'm not mistaken, due to tie breaks, they're kind of locked into their bracket.
Probably so.
If I remember correctly.
Probably so, yeah. And lastly, Replacements can potentially push out Leprechauns with a win over BDR.
I've started putting this all together in an article just because not everyone watches the podcast. So usually the articles and podcasts are about different things. This time around, because of the importance of the whole playoffs, we want to be able to get that out about Saturday morning. We're supposed to be getting one from Marc-Andre Desaulniers as well. That's more thematic. No news on when that one's coming out yet, but mine should be out Saturday or Sunday morning with sort of some of the breakdowns of some of the scenarios, and we'll look at that, and we'll be posting these a version of these graphics as well in that article.
Ready to take a look at Tier 2?
I am ready. I was just about to ask you for that.
All right. So Tier 2, very similar. So again, there's 20 teams. 12 make it. Same breakdown: 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12. So we can see here, and I'll do this in reverse order again. Les Mythiques, Supply and Command, Les Gros Coqs, Mean Machine, Dream Breakers, Blackouts are all eliminated. Mangoose and Warriors still have a chance to squeeze their way in. And vice versa. Team Ethnic and Ice Up, I believe, are locked into the upper seeds, but there's still a chance for some reshuffling with Tent and Hammocks, Chocolate Thunder, and Diablos and Outlaws all having games to play.
Yeah, so it's tier 2 is pretty interesting in terms of with all the scenarios that remain. Outlaws holding on to that cash bracket dearly. Centaurs being buoyed by two things: a tie and the Supply and Command defense, really helping them out last week, as well as the offense. I wasn't perfect either, but it's just the joke of the season for us. That middle constellation bracket for me is most interesting, Eagle, because Chocolate Thunder and Diablos, well, mostly Diablos. If Diablos lose this week, they might lose their way out of a bracket, even though at the moment they're in that middle bracket.
Yes, it's absolutely possible.
So even with the other teams having no games to play, Diablos,
well, I mean, that being said,
it's not likely.
Their divisional record's 3-0, so you're going to get into a multi-way tie,
Well,
and you're likely going to finish at the top.
Bruins. So open Diablos tab.
So Diablos are playing Dream Breakers this week.
That's a fun game actually. It'll be a fun game.
Yeah. In the battle of nobody cares, Les Gros Coqs is playing Supply and Command. I'm sorry, guys, you're both eliminated.
It's our own. It's the trash bowl.
Outlaws are playing Mangoose, so Mangoose is fighting for their life in that game. They need a win to try and give themselves a tiebreak.
But wait. Diablos are playing who though?
Diablos are playing Dream Breakers.
Dream Breakers. And the Diablos play Bruins this season.
Diablos have... I'm looking. I don't think...
Control F?
Bruins? No, they have not. They have not played them.
If the Diablos lose this week, Bruins jump them by not playing a game.
But again, it's a multi-way tie at 8 points, right?
Well, yeah, but so they both have 3-1 divisional records, and then the points against Bruins have far less than Diablos.
Yes, exactly. So that would be true.
So that's awesome. So I'm always rooting against François Martin. Truthfully, because I like him. But I'm always rooting against him in all circumstances of life. It's how I show friendship. But I'm actually legit rooting against him in this specific instance because I want that scenario. I want a team to advance without playing a game. That's awesome.
So Outlaws is playing Mangoose. So Outlaws is trying to solidify themselves in the cash bowl. Mangoose is trying to make themselves into the playoffs. Warriors are playing Chocolate Thunder. So again, Chocolate Thunder trying to push their way into the cash bowl or at least hold on to a constellation seed. Warriors want to get into playoffs. And then Tent and Hammocks is playing Mean Machine. So Mean Machine, no thanks. But Tent and Hammocks, you could potentially also jump into the cash round. So these games are super critical right now.
Yeah, and we'll do a pick'em, a last pick'em for the season, for the regular season, on this podcast later today. But in the meantime, let's go to the tier 1.
Yeah, and tier 1, our graphicist did a little oopsie on this one.
Warriors, Mangoose, Blackouts, Dream Breakers, Mean Machine, Gros Coqs. You're eliminated from tier 1. You didn't participate in it, but you're definitely eliminated.
Yeah. So you guys don't exist. Yeah, so pretend that's not actually there. So there's only 12 teams in tier 1. Only 8 make playoffs. So top 4 cash, next 4 constellation, and next 4 go home. So Dead Prez, Rockets, and Running Gun, y'all are out. BYOB, you still have a chance to squeeze your way in. And then Lightweight and Junkyard Dogs, you're really hoping on a loss from BYOB or at least a tie so you can figure out some tie breaks. Lightweight, you're really in trouble. So you're likely going to fall out if BYOB gets that extra point because you're 0-3-1 in divisional record. So
it's crazy. It's crazy to think that Lightweight will likely finish outside the bracket. So who's BYOB playing this week?
So in tier 1, there's only 3 games left. So STL is playing Vinny's Huffmen. So that's going to determine the
seeding.
Top seed, basically. Yeah. That's basically the shuffle around. Then you have Dead Prez playing BYOB. which is a game that BYOB needs to win. Dead Prez doesn't matter. And then 2.5 Dans is playing Urgence Medic in the last game.
So who's BYOB?
BYOB is playing Dead Prez.
Okay, Dead Prez. That's it.
And then Urgence Medic is playing 2.5 Dans. So basically, they can kind of switch their seeding here for the Cash and Constellation round, potentially.
Yeah. I heard the guys from 2.5 Dans talking about how they still had a chance to make the cash round. So that's pretty cool. BYOB, I mean, look, they have a good draw. They're 1 point behind lightweight, and they face Dead Prez, who are 1-6.
So
that 2 point loss to Vinny's Huffmen really hurt lightweight in the end.
This is going to be a fun week 9, and then the playoff schedule is out as well, so you guys can take a look at that. Depending on whether you're tier 1, 2, or 3, you're either playing the week of November 10th, 17th, or 10th or 17th. And then the finals are either the 25th or the 27th. So check the schedules accordingly. Your games are already pre-scheduled. It's just a matter of the final seeding before you figure out where you actually are.
And then we're going to figure out what we're doing in terms of coverage.
That is correct.
Because that still hasn't been discussed at any level. So, yeah, we need to do that.
I think we should speak to the head of media. I think they should be able to figure this out for us.
Probably.
Peeze, who would that be?
Team of 1 this season. That's super fun, by the way. I hate this. Yeah. I hate this.
You know what you don't hate?
What don't I hate?
Games of the week!
I love you, but we've spent so many weeks together this year because of the fall season. I can't wait to not hear you say that for weeks.
It's funny because
I'll miss it in December, right?
Yeah, I know. But right now, you're sick of it.
My God. And so early on in the year, when we go out, grab a drink or go out, grab dinner, we'll spend the entire time talking about FPF. I noticed last time we went out, we did not mention FPF a single time.
Because we don't want to anymore.
No, it's like we're tired, we're worn out. Honestly, we do love doing this. The podcast is a blast.
Just in general, FPF is a blast.
It is. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. We really love working with FPF Media. If people are ever interested in working for FPF Media, please feel free to contact me.
But seriously though, if you actually do want to join the team, then let us know.
Yeah,
We're absolutely open to having you guys join. Just tell us and we'll let you in.
Reach out to me. I don't bite unless it's sexual, so I'm probably not attracted to you. But take a chance.
All right. So, Peeze, let's predict some futures here. We're going to do all the games because there's not that many in week 9. So let's start off in tier 3. We have Les OGs versus Rogues.
Give me Les OGs to win that one.
I will take Rogues. Honey Martin versus Chocolate Barracudas.
Maybe this is my sweet spot, my soft spot, but I am going Honey Martin.
Me too, I'm going Honey Martin.
It's only because Ignacio's doing the spreadsheet for us, isn't it?
Fafi et sa bande versus Voodoo. And also, yes.
How does that team get away with that name? Voodoo.
I will tentatively agree with you, but that one I'm a little bit hesitant on. This should be a good game. Los Bandidos versus Threat Level Midnight.
Threat Level Midnight.
You don't think Bandidos has it in them?
I can't go away from Golden Face.
I'm going to go with Los Bandidos.
All right.
And our last game of the week, BDR versus Replacements.
Replacements won that one.
I will agree with you. Let's go tier 2. We have Dream Breakers versus Diablos.
Dream Breakers because I'm always rooting against François Martin.
So they will live up to their name.
Yeah.
And break the dreams of Diablos.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with you. Supply and Command versus Les Gros Coqs.
Supply and Command by 78.
I feel like you have that in the wrong order. It's Gros Coq by 78. Outlaws Mangoose.
Outlaws. Yeah, I like that. Outlaws.
I'm going to call Outlaws Mangoose. Sorry, you're going home. Warriors versus Chocolate Thunder.
Unfortunately, for all the good things I said about Warriors, I think they're going to lose this game to Chocolate Thunder.
No, I'm going to pick Warriors on this.
Is it because I convinced you with my analysis?
You mean the one where you said all my analysis and now I'm picking against them? You mean that analysis?
Yeah, but did I because I convinced myself despite my analysis.
So then
did my analysis convince you?
So then are you a good analyst or a bad analyst?
I am something.
You're a something
Everyone
analyst.
is something. I think that's a fact.
Well, maybe not today. Anyway, I didn't want to start that topic. And then last game, Tents and Hammocks versus Mean Machine.
Tents and Hammocks have this one in the bag, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
Because Mean Machine, they can. It's just a system. You take away the system, and I think they can do it.
You gotta actually want to do. You have to commit to doing it.
That is fair.
Give me tents and hammocks, and the defense is gonna give 2.5 Dans a tough time.
And then
it's gonna give. I was looking at the wrong game now because the different screen came up. It's gonna give Mean Machine a tough time.
And then tier 1, STL
Game
versus Vinny's Huffmen.
Game of the week. Give me STL.
STL. Yeah.
It's a tough one, though.
That is a tough one. But if Vinny's Huffmen do what they did last week, STL is going to take it easily. Dead Prez versus BYOB.
Sorry, Simon. BYOB.
I would agree. And then 2HD versus Urgence Medic.
I don't know.
You got to pick something. Okay, I'm picking first then. I'm picking Urgence Medic.
I'm going to say guys are missing because the game's at 11, 2.5 Dans.
All right, there we go. Well, this was fun.
This was fun.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Oh, you're not here. It's Terry and I next week.
Yeah.
We're going to break down all of the bowl games, do a little bit of game preview, something I don't do a ton of on this show. We're gonna actually get into that. Maybe we'll see if we can get another analyst in studio. Maybe we can convince Mokan to take a break from what you're playing, and we get one of the other guys.
There's not too many games to break down either, which is nice. So you should be okay.
Yeah, it'll be more fun, I think, if we get people in studio, like at least someone else in studio that week. I think it'll be fun. Eagle, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Let's go brave the storm. Not together, but separate. Together, but separate.
Togetherly?
Togetherly.
Separate together.